Hello, Morgan.
Hello, doll. Whoa.
I know it's actually we're in the stew right now. If y'all don't know. And you're my second guest for the podcast.
I'm so fucking excited. I'm also so incredibly honored. When you texted me, it made my fucking day. Not because you asked me to be a guest, but the fact that you were doing this.
Aw, you're
I'm
sweet.
so excited.
Y'all have been you and y'all and just like honestly my whole community have been so supportive and sweet. I just want to cry because it is so like we were chatting before we hopped on the pod that you had started a podcast with your cousins, and I think that that's so fun. And I've definitely talked to my voice notes to myself for myself before, but to publish something is like it's intimate.
It is. Well, I will say that the podcast I did with my cousins, the original idea was just to do it all the kids for the parents.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just like, it'll just
That's
be like a
cute.
little, like, it's like a journal more so than it is like for entertainment, like a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's like probably what helped. But I will say it is like everybody wants to start a podcast.
They do.
And then they get on it. Crickets.
Right.
No, nobody knows what to talk about. Nobody knows how to carry on a conversation anymore. It's hard.
It is. That is such a good point. Every bitch wants a mic these days. Like that. Every bitch wants a mic these days. And I wouldn't listen to half of you hoes podcast. Like 100%.
I've tried, and I can speak from experience. I have tried, and they're not good.
They're not good. And you know what? I'm glad you brought this up because I'm starting a podcast, girl. I do not listen to a lot of podcasts. So you really got to be like kind of crazy to be like, oh, I'm gonna like talk into a mic for an hour, but like I won't listen to someone else do that. So I'm hoping that something about that makes the strategy elevated because I just cannot. Maybe it's the ADHD, but
Yeah,
I have to really be like into the topic. And I feel like when you did it with your cousins, you guys like, I feel like you should tell the audience, like who these people are because I feel like you have a very unique relationship with like this group of people in your life.
Yes, okay. I do honestly. I love talking about them, so I love that you asked. But it's such a fun fucking group, and I feel like it's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
But this group we call ourselves actually
Legally.
We did not government. That's our business, that's our LLC. They didn't like make this name. I had a friend who would refer to them as our frat family, and then it just stuck a few years ago. But we call ourselves our frat family because all of our dads were in a fraternity together at UT.
That's so cute.
So there were 4 guys. They got married. Each couple had 2 kids.
That's so cute.
So then there's now 8 kids, obviously 8 parents, and we basically all went to UT, all except for one. But
horns up, man.
We all went to UT, and now 3 of the boys are in the same fraternity that the dads were all in. So it's so fucking full circle. Like,
that's so cute.
Alumni weekends is a mind fuck because I'm literally going to a frat party with my younger brother who's like 19 years old, and then my 50-year-old parents. It's a trip, dude.
That's the juxtaposition.
Can we cuss?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You absolutely can. And you've already said fucking shit. And I refer to the audience as a hoe. So I feel like there's like we're far past a level. But I'm glad that you asked.
Because I was like, I know who's gonna be seeing this, and I know I have a potty mouth.
And I do too. And I try to reel it in, girl. And I will. Today I may be like, frick, that's like but I honestly love this clique that you have. Like the fact that like how many years apart is this? Like between your parents going to UT and then your parents also met at UT.
My parents met junior year.
Cute.
at UT. So I guess they got married in 98, which they dated for 7 fucking years before they got engaged.
Wow.
So they met in 91. So all of that group started around 91.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am the oldest, born 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And then the youngest is my brother, who is 2004. So he's 4 years younger. Yeah. So they're all.
So everybody was like, your parents were literally popping these people out at a rapid pace.
Oh my God.
It was so hard to say that without cuss words. I wanted to say 18 different things to spin, and then I was like, keep it PC. But like they were really active during a period of their life.
Active, yeah.
That's so crazy to me that your friends, you guys all will link up and have kids in the same window. I feel like that's so normalized for like our parents and grandparents, but now it's like we're like 25, 24, 26. I have friends with multiple kids.
Same. Yes.
I have friends single as fuck, like ain't been with nobody, no kids on the horizon.
Yes.
I'm not gonna have a kid for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it's just so weird, like it's a lot more spread out, I feel like, than like these batches of like frat generations. That's so fun. Like boyhood.
It is fucking boyhood. Like it's so wild though, because I mean, like being older now, I know that like I've talked to the families and they've told me that after Morgan came, they were like, baby fever's crazy.
Really?
Like they were like, we want our own now. And then they had them, and we all just like took care of each other. So it was like perfect, because like there's if you're busy, there's 6 other people there that you trust to like watch your kids, and you have your own. So it's just like you put them in a room together and you guys are like,
you can live your life.
Yeah.
It's the community that we all should have.
Community. Oh my God, I want to live on a commune.
And it would be so fun. Like you really, when I think about this, I think about how like historians were right when they were like the village, like everybody's taking care of all the kids. Like there's so much mutual trust and responsibility from the parents, where it's like they want you to be safe, they want their kids to be safe, they want all of you guys to have a great experience together.
Yes.
Because they had a great experience together. And like that is so sweet. At the end of the day, I don't know, I'm not gonna have this sisterhood with my homegirls. Not in the same way where we like pop them out at the same time.
Yeah.
That's like a very rare thing.
I honestly don't even think that they weren't planning it. Right. They like literally just hung out, and they all talk about like how they fucking hated each other when they first met. My uncle thought my like other uncle was so annoying, and and now they're besties and they play golf every Wednesday together. So it just like it worked out. They definitely. I don't think they could have planned it. Like, I feel like it is different because there are people these days who do try to plan, like, we're all gonna do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes I think maybe if it was like forced, then maybe it's like not the same and experience.
You know what? I completely agree. And I'm glad that you're setting on business. We have to start saying hot takes. Like, we can't be afraid. Yeah, you girls and guys and gals, like I feel like people should want kids when it feels natural and when it feels right. And I feel like a lot of times when like you're getting very like you're trying to plan things and orchestrate things for the sake of going through that experience with someone else, I think that that's great if it happens for you. Right. And like I think that that's so fun for like best friends and sisters to share. But like as long as it's the right time for you to have a kid. Right. You could have this community, but like you yourself rushing into such a big like thing just because all of your friends are doing it, like that's how I feel like a lot of like our parents' generations, like they all of them had kids around the same time because of societal pressure. Right. So it's nice and refreshing to hear like it's like it was natural, it just ended up happening, like, you know, fucking I'm pregnant, like my homegirl's pregnant, like it's just like fun. But yeah, I mean, a lot of our parents were born in these like batches because it's like societal pressure. You just do this when you become a certain age, and that is not our reality. That is not my reality, babe.
Yeah, no, that's so crazy.
Do you feel ready to be a mother? Do you want kids?
Oh my God. That is a crazy
Yeah.
question. I want to let me emphasize, I think from obviously no prior knowledge or experience, think that I am meant to be a mother. I want to be a mom so bad. I feel like I have a desire to be a mother more than a wife. Like, I really want to be a mother. Do I think that I'm ready for that right now? No. No. I mean, like, that's why I'm dating women right now, right? Also, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Not why I'm dating women, obviously, but
yeah,
I just want to, like, I want to have a good time. I finally, more recently, found peace in being completely unattached. Completely unattached. Like, in a relationship, I'm not in a relationship. That has been, hate to say it, incredible. And I love my friends who are in good, healthy relationships.
You said that has been a delight. Like, truly.
It is very pleasant.
I love that you love being single. It's great to love your life just as it is. Yes. Without any additions, because then everything feels like, oh my God, what a treat.
Yes. Yeah. It took a while, I will say, but I'm loving it. And I mean, I guess I do have like a dog child, but I love that role.
I think you're someone who values your freedom a lot, which is why I respect you, you. Like, you're my favorite archetype of gal, because not only are you an Aries queen, you're an Aries queen, but Aries baddies specifically, y'all are about your interests, your desires, your passions in a healthy way.
Interesting.
I really believe that. Like, every Aries baddie, I don't know what it is about you. I don't even know that much about astrology.
Yeah.
But every time I meet an Aries queen, I'm like, oh, you're fierce.
Wait, I love that.
Y'all just have like you more. And I will.
That's like, crazy.
You just value your like freedom in a way that is healthy and important and forgotten. Like, we just don't put ourselves first enough. Like, we really don't. And I feel like even what you said, like, I got, as someone who's dating a woman, I got exactly what you said. You said, that's why I'm dating women right now. And I got you from rip, because like, when you are fully comfortable in your sexuality, you are okay with being with a woman, or maybe this is just me and you can correct me, but like, you're okay with being with a woman because like, societally, like, that's not the choice that everybody's going to make for you.
Right.
When you have kids, it's going to be a choice. Like, it's going to be a conscious decision. It's not like, oops, I can get pregnant and then this is my man. And I feel like for me, I felt that exact same way, where I was like, if I really cared about what you hoes wanted, I could be with a man because I like those guys. Like, I'm bi, like, I like boys, like I dated boys. But when I chose to like, okay, I'm gonna actively pursue women, like, that's something that I feel like not a lot of people can really, if they're not bisexual, they can fully grasp. It's right. Like, this is an active choice for me. I am choosing, a path of resistance.
Yes.
Like, I'm choosing, when I want kids, it's a step above a conscious decision. It requires outside forces to make this happen. And if you like if you were with a man, it just wouldn't be that. So I feel like I just felt you when you said that, because it's like, I see you so completely.
Girl.
If that's what you meant.
That's like fucking crazy that you're going to make me cry too. But that's so sweet. And this, God, that's like, just side note, why I love having conversations with you, because you will always pick up like we will obviously the conversation will follow. Mm-hmm. But you'll pick up on the little things, even things that I didn't say, but I love that.
You said, but you didn't have to say it.
Yeah, damn,
we
bitch.
be having to explain shit. Like, we really do. Like, yes. Girl, the bisexual curse, it could be the title of this podcast episode.
That's a good one.
It might be. It's such a gift, but like, girl, you can't say certain things without feeling, at least I feel this way, like needing to like defend or stand 10 toes down. It's like, no, girl, I actively am choosing to date a woman.
Yes.
Like, that is like a choice that is made with careful consideration.
Yes.
Because it impacts my day-to-day life.
Yes.
Like, my day-to-day life, like how I navigate the world.
Well, I was just journaling about this the other day. Well, okay, so I started a list in my phone of like ideas that I live by. Mm-hmm. And one of them, and I hopefully wrote it nicer than it's about to sound, but one of them, or the last one that I wrote about, was something about how life feels a lot easier to navigate, I think, when you can, like, at the end of the day, feel good with yourself. Mm-hmm. So like, if you are good in your self, not just see no wrong, like I am a great person, not in that way, but like I see and know everything that I did in that day, and I stand by everything that I said and did that day. Like, if you're good with all of that, life just, it feels a little bit better, you know? Like, you can kind of like, I don't know, it feels good.
I completely agree. There's not like, a lot of people don't have a spine, like, yes. And with love, like, not even to comfort people, but it's really difficult to stand by your decisions even when they're wrong, and be like, I know that was wrong, but like, I probably would have made that choice because I needed to make that mistake, or whatever.
Exactly.
It helps you sleep at night too, and I think that's why people be restless, girl. Yeah. Because we're just going back and forth on what we should have done, but it's like, it's done. It's done.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that sparked one of my hot seat questions. A list of like all hot seat, for just reference, is the game that
she said, it's funny that you bring this up. It's in my notes app.
It opens up a lot. Rapid fire questions. They can be anything from what's your favorite color to like, if your spouse and kids were hanging off a cliff and you can only save one, who would you save? But one of the questions I asked was, when you're going to bed at night, do you think more about the past or the future? And it was kind of stemming from what we were just talking about.
And I know your journal's spy. Like, girl, I know your notes like app and your journal fire. I know you've got prose in there. I know you've got poetry. I know you have bars. I know you have lists that wouldn't make any sense.
God, to anyone else. I would love to do a deep dive on that.
Right. And that will be our next podcast episode. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I have journaled for 10 years of my life.
Hell
11 years now, but it's like, I could Snapchat memories my psyche, girl.
Dude,
if I wanted to pick a random day in March 9 years ago, I probably could.
Yes.
That's so weird.
I have been journaling since I've been journaling since 2009.
Damn, girl.
And I know because it's a Mickey Mouse journal. I actually read it when I went home, and that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Getting into the mind of a middle school me.
Yeah. Dark place.
Ooh.
Ooh. It's dark. It's dystopian. It's dirty. Like, I'm just scared. I had a journal in middle school, and I was like, this is trash, and I threw it away. And I think about that all the time, because I was like in my Tumblr era, so I was like drawing things and like writing poetry. And I was like, you know what? This is okay. Like, some files are meant to be forgotten. Like, the library, the burning of Alexandria, like, that was mine. Like, I'm tossing these texts away, and it's okay. But I started mine in freshman year when things really like started popping off in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And
God, what a time.
What a time. Like Fetty Wap was so present in our lives.
Oh my God. This is like the third time I've talked about Fetty Wap in the past week, dude. Like, what's happening? And I
his
love it.
powers are getting stronger every single day, because when you get into a Fetty, like, what do you want to do? You want to listen to Fetty Wap. So I have also been thinking about him recently, and I hope he's doing good.
So good, dude. Like,
I love
so
that you've been
good.
journaling for that long, though. That's like nuts.
But we're journal girls. Like, sometimes we can't have the conversations that we would if we literally just wrote our own thoughts down.
Right.
Because one, I may not be able to articulate it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I won't get the same response that I want.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I expect a certain response,
Mm-hmm.
but like sometimes I just need to get it out on my own and not.
I need to take this back to the crib and like sort it out. That's how I feel sometimes with certain things that I'm like, oh, I need to journal today. Like today's entry needs to be written. And like I feel like I've just gone through so many ebbs and flows with journaling over the years. I don't know if you feel the same, but like sometimes like I won't journal for a long time.
Same.
And then sometimes I'm journaling every day for months on end. And I used to be a little bit more like stressed about it, like being like, oh my gosh, like especially when I graduated college, I was very into journaling in high school and just like taping things in there, and like it just is such a, like I hold it so close to my heart. Like if my apartment is burning down, God, like hopefully not, that's what I'm grabbing.
Same. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm grabbing that. I'm grabbing my photo albums. I'm grabbing my boo, and we're getting out of here. And my poochie. Like I'm grabbing dog, boo, journals, photo albums.
Yeah.
And everything else like is so like it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Like the sentimental value of just like dude, honestly, I think a lot of why I journal, or at least have been recently, has been my memory has not been as good. She's not in tip-top shape. At least not right now. I keep telling myself that I can get better. But I want to have that down somewhere for, even if it's not me, if anybody, I don't know,
they
will
can
have
submit
interest.
my stuff to the museum.
Yeah, like
it would be crazy. They'd be like, she was crazy, but she was free.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, that TikTok sound. Yes. I want it to be documented somewhere. Like, even if it doesn't go anywhere, like I have peace of mind knowing that like I can look back on that time in very raw emotion.
I think that's so great too, because like it's so healthy for you to do that. I'm not a big rereader of my journals. I don't know if you are. I maybe once a year, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I'm same.
I don't know what it is, but I have to be in a very specific mood to like read back, just because I feel like I get so much from writing it.
Yeah.
I get a lot from rereading, but sometimes I'm like, damn, like this bitch was going through it, and it just takes you back, and sometimes it's valuable, and then sometimes I think it's not. Like sometimes I think there's entries that you wrote that don't need to be reread, but that might be a hot take.
No, that is valid. I actually, for the first time recently, did oh my God, it's like reading comprehension DBQ. Like I actually went back through and read some of my more recent stuff, because if I ever gonna go back to read, it's for shits and giggles. I'm going back to 2011 and seeing me write about my little middle school crush, right? But I recently read some stuff that I had written in the past like 1 or 2 years, which I don't do often. And I wrote a journal entry about what I had read. And it was really interesting because I remember writing about how these things that felt so big to me in those moments, and I felt them again. Like when I read through the entries, I was like, oh my God, this sucked.
Yeah.
I wrote about like both of my breakups right after, literally like hours after they happened.
The rawest files ever known.
Yes. So I saw them and I was like, this felt awful. 10 out of 10 pain level. And now I'm reading them now and I'm like, girl, stand up. It's really not that big of a deal.
The foresight be crazy. It really does. Like, you can look back at something that you know was so painful and just have empathy for yourself.
Yes.
That not, like, where else can you get that kind of empathy for yourself?
Right?
I'm trying to think. Like, and I have been trying to put my friends for years onto journaling, and I truly believe that it should never be something forced. So, like,
yes,
if you don't, like, it doesn't come to you naturally, like, I think everyone should try, but, like, if you're trying, I hate this, like, ditch. But, like, I very rarely have met someone like you who has been journaling longer than I. Like, just a long time journaler. Like, they're gonna, it doesn't matter if they take a break or whatever, but, like, you're gonna come back to it eventually. You're gonna put an entry in there.
Yeah.
And you're gonna read it.
Well, I think it's also so, what you said, like, pure about journaling is like, it's very, and this word maybe overused right now, but it's very intentional. It's very intentional. Like, you can't be forced to do it. And if you do, it's not your real emotion. So when you sit down and write about something, it's very much like, I know that I want to talk about this particular thing. And then even reading back on it is very intentional. Like,
yeah,
you may not be looking for anything in particular, but you know that, like, I'm going into this, like,
looking to learn something.
Exactly.
Or being open to learning something.
Yes.
I think that is such a good point. And that is so interesting because, like, when I think back to, like, writing some of these past entries, like 14-year-old me, 15-year-old me, like, I was going through some bullshit.
Yeah.
So it is, I think part of me is like a little avoidant in that way, where I'm like, I won't go back to some of these entries during such a dark time, but maybe I should, like, I've always been that type, and I've never really met anybody else besides you, I don't think, that, like, seriously, like, journals consistently, especially out of my friends.
Yeah.
And, no shade, no tea, but I think that's so interesting. Like, I really might, like, do that more because you just said that. Like,
well, I will say I don't journal like every day. Like you were saying, you go like through phases. I also will go through phases where, like, the longest I've probably gone without journaling has maybe been up to like 6, 8, 10 months, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But, like, you can tell there was, like, something there.
Things are getting choppy,
whether it's the content or the handwriting. When I look back at my old handwriting, I'm like, girl, what are you? I was just trying to make it. Anyway, that's so off topic, but it's just so funny.
You know what? But I felt that, though. The handwriting of, like, a child that's still in high school, because you're writing so much still.
Yes.
Like, versus my handwriting now, it's, like, script that, like, even, like, when these journals are buried in rubble and tomb, like, in 2,000 years, and we're like, what the fuck was this girl saying? Like, she, like, is this English? And how do we get better at that? I think it maybe just be, like, writing more, but I feel you. Like, my handwriting, wild. Running my hands over the pages and knowing I touch those pages freaks me out. I always think about that.
Wow, that's so interesting.
I really think about that. I'm like, wow, like, me, like, I, like, me, like, wrote this. Like, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And, like, even with, like, photos and videos, it's like you still can't get that element of, like, no, this is exactly how I was feeling. Oh, and that's what I was going to say earlier. Something that you said sparked this in me, where it was like, a lot of people need coaching on how to listen to, like, their own intuition, right? Like, journaling is a lot of, if you're doing it, you can feel yourself writing when you're writing for someone else because it feels forced.
Yes.
And then you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I genuinely believe that's the number one reason why people quit. I'll die on that hill, that they're like, oh my gosh, I hate journaling. And it's like, maybe if you wrote down how you actually felt and you weren't afraid that someone would read it. A lot of people are afraid that people will read it. Which is jail time. Like, bitch, I would, like, it is for no one's eyes unless I give you permission for life. That would make me so mad. Like, oh my God. I would never do that to someone. I don't know if that's just because I'm a journaler, but like, I would never.
I would never. That is so against the rules. I also, the karma would be, oh my God. It would that is despicable.
The beef would be like I would break up with someone.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's such a violation of your trust. And this is the one space where your thoughts are safe. So I would be so mad. And what was I saying? I was consumed by rage just then. Oh, training yourself out of writing, being scared that people are going to read it, which really just means scared of other people's like thoughts on your thoughts. I don't know how to say that. That takes coaching. To get out of. Like your first entry back. It's weird because you're like, well, I guess work was okay. I'm just trying to look at the bright side of things. And then you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And then you wake up, you develop like a sense of integrity and consciousness. And then you're like, oh, like, wait, like, I hate this right now.
Yeah.
Why am I BSing right now when I hate it? And here's exactly why. There's no space in life for that range of emotion, like true rage, like true sadness, because it's always taken out of context. If you're raging to someone exactly why you're hating all this stuff, they probably wouldn't like you anymore.
Oh my God, yes. Ditto everything you just said.
I knew you would vibe with what, because I feel like you get that. Like you're someone who has a lot of intention with a lot of things that you do, and like that has to come from a place of, you know, that innate like knowing of what you want.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't want to ever have to explain that to somebody. And sometimes, like, obviously I do find the need to, and I will rant to people.
Yeah.
Because I just like need to get it out. But I think journaling it's so incredible because you just, it's all me.
Yeah.
Like, it is all me. I know nobody will ever read that, honestly.
And no one will judge you. You can say the worst thing ever. You can say the most beautiful things that someone will never hear. And there's peace that's like, this is just for me, bro.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, just for me.
There's not, what other spaces are like that? Like, I can't think of anything else besides maybe like talking to yourself or like anything like intuitive like that, but like journaling, that kind of stuff. There's no space in life where, you know, like saying that stuff outwardly is gonna feel the same as saying it inward, and like, you know, you're not judging yourself. Or at least, you know, you shouldn't be. Like, you're just riding raw. Like, this is what it is right now.
No, absolutely. Well, like, it's the difference, I guess, is just locking it in, like in the pen and paper. It's just, it's there. But to like actively think it and then, get it down is, I love that. And I recently, because sometimes I find the need to journal when I'm like high or drunk or like however inebriated, and I physically cannot hold a pen or like just can't, it's not happening. So I started doing video recently.
You're speaking to me right now.
And it's so interesting to look back on it, but it's also like I'm just not as well articulated as if it's written.
It's written. That's interesting.
So I do really like, I mean, obviously I would prefer journaling, but I did try something else. I will, like, you were saying
cathartic. It's cathartic. Any like expression like that is so cathartic, and it's so funny that you say that because I have done like video diaries of myself since 2019. So
really,
that is a trip. Let me tell you. Like, one of my first ones was right before, like, right at the beginning of end of 2019, beginning of 2020. So like right before COVID hit. Like right before. My shit got rocked. Like it was apparent in the video footage. And just like I did it all through COVID. So I just like feel like
Interesting.
It's crazy to look back on. Like I probably have like 60, like from 2019 to like last year.
Wow.
And it's so trippy to hear how you like just like again, it's like the same concept as a journal, but it's like you're seeing yourself say these things. So it's like that's so weird. I don't watch those a lot either.
Yeah. I usually honestly I end up deleting them, or they're in my Snapchat memory, so I know that they will never be seen again.
It's healthy though to do that. Like I don't think everything needs to be seen again.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be seen again. Also, sometimes I will run things through with myself, maybe out loud, before I talk to other people about it, and I solve my own problem by the end of the entry.
Girl,
like
that's the best part. Hot girls are talking to themselves.
They are, dude. They fucking are. And honestly, more people should do it.
Yes.
There are so many people, I think, if you just sat and thought about this by yourself, maybe. It didn't even have to be silent. You can talk to yourself. Nobody's judging. Nobody's going to say anything about it. Nobody's going to see it. You needed that 5 minutes. I didn't need to hear what you had to say, actually, because you could have done that yourself. So respectfully, I think it's important.
That is so true. If we could like delete all the conversations that people should be having with themselves, would the world be silent? Like if a tree falls in the forest, like does it make sound? Because this was a self project. That was a singular thought just for you. Some of the things in here are disturbing and that you should keep to yourself and burn it after. Like, there's girls out here like you and I that are doing the work. Like we are taking it to the crib.
We're filtering.
Bring filtering back, bring keeping things to yourself back, like scaling back 2025, please. I think that is the big takeaway like from our conversation today thus far is like seriously hot girls are talking to themselves.
Yes.
And it could be in any way. Like you don't have to journal, you can manifest. I feel like there's just so much power in like communicating and actively engaging in a dialogue with you, like the one person living this life, the one person like experiencing what you're experiencing. You're not going to have anybody that's going to be able to support you better than yourself. Give you empathy that like truly makes a true difference, like than yourself.
You sound like the conversations I have with myself when I'm like on mushrooms. And I say that because I very recently did that and I had this reminder.
Yeah. It's a download. Like you literally, it's like, oh, I forgot.
Yes. It literally is. Like I just honestly recently had a little experience just doing something fun. I'd done it before, but this time I think I was just like in my head a little bit or whatever. And I just didn't have a great experience, so I had to excuse myself. I was like, you know what? I just need to be away from people right now. And I had a moment by myself and it brought me back. I was like, I'm so grateful for my mind and body to get me through this experience because I'm not having a great time, but I don't need to rely on anybody to make me feel better right now. I'm going to be by myself and I'm going to be okay. Like I just kept telling myself that. And sometimes I will say it's not as easy as telling myself that it'll be okay, that I feel okay. Actually, most of the time it's not like that.
Yeah.
But that time I was just like, nobody gets me better than myself.
Right. And they never will. And they never will. And not even in like isolation kind of way. Like, oh my God, I'm the only one that gets me. Like,
oh my God, dude.
Our brainwaves are two molecules.
You read... and it's so funny that we're literally I feel like a bodily like reaction, like my whole body is literally tensing up because I I could, if I brought it, I could show you. I journaled about that exact same thing this morning. Not at all about, like, I obviously, like, wasn't.
I love that. The telepathy.
Dude, like, that word, like, you said, like, I'm not isolating myself is exactly what I read about this morning, because I was like, I'm not, like, trying to isolate myself. I just want to feel more sure about just counting on myself.
Yeah,
or like,
you want to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Girl, look, I think that is so, like,
so
taking
good.
care of yourself and, like, taking the time for yourself. Like, I feel like people really only think it's just like, take a bubble bath, like, go on a walk. It's like, no, you, like, need to spend real time with yourself, like, sitting with all of the ranges of emotions that you have. That's why I think journaling also can be very uncomfortable for people. It's you're confronting, like, if you're driven to journal, most of the time there's something strong, at least for me, that pulls me there.
Same.
Like, oh my God, I had a great day. Or, oh my God, I had the worst day. Or, oh my God, I hate this girl. Like, I need to get in my pen tonight and, like, write my manifesto. And I feel like having that pull, like, you should have that same pull in other areas of your life. Like, go take yourself out on a real date. Like, go wine and dine yourself. Go eat at a restaurant by yourself. Like, just once. Like, if you don't like it, that's fine. Like, it's a muscle that you can develop, but, like, I just don't think that people realize that they might like it. Like, you might like you, girl.
Yes.
Like, you might like you. Like, you might want to date you. You might want to get flirty with you. Like, you might want to, like, I don't know, just take a nice bath and tuck yourself into bed. Like, taking care of yourself is, like, mwah, for you.
Yes.
You to you. Like, love to you.
And what a gift, dude.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there. And I know that we have gotten there, and it took a lot of work.
It took a
Girl, it took a lot of time and effort, conscious effort, but it feels so good. And I know exactly what you're talking about, but I would love, it's just, like, hard sometimes to explain to people who don't realize that they want or need something like that, because they've never experienced it before. They're like, I'm doing well with talking to who I talk to, using the devices that I use, and that's so valid, but
they don't know it could be better. Yeah. It could be a lot better. That's what I'm saying. I feel like we really connect on that, because we're two girlies that, you know, at the end of the day, we are going to self-preserve, which is, like, something innately everyone should be doing. And that the conversation is always so convoluted with, like, you being selfish. Like, that is such bullshit, in my opinion. Yeah. Or you're super egotistical, or you're all about you, or you're driven by self-interest. Half of those, if you didn't say it with a stank face, I don't necessarily think those would be bad statements. Yeah. Driven by self-interest. Okay, you do what you want. I respect that. Yeah. I want to date people, be friends with people, work for people that do what they want, what they think is best, that think for themselves, open opinion, but they're going to stand on business. Yes. That's what I genuinely want. And I don't know if people know what that feels like, because I feel like they just feel like all of the negative feelings, like, establishing boundaries is really hard. And that feels icky and sad. But then when you stand on business and you have your night and you do what you want with your night, then it's like you run into a friend and it's like an addition. Or like your bookie texts you, it's an addition. Like, if you just did what you wanted, then, like, all of this extra stuff would literally just be a pro. Yes. Because you did what you wanted to do with your night, your life, your day, you know? Yes.
It's all just like a matter of, yes, it's uncomfortable, but I will get past, like, actively try to get past that. Like, journaling may be uncomfortable. You have to, like, actively, consciously be like, I'm going to do it anyway. And then you get there. Yeah. Going on a date by yourself, it's the first time may not be a very good time.
It's, girl, pulling up to the Cheesecake Factory and being like, table for one.
And you know what? I love it. As a server, somebody's coming into Ichiban and they say, just one. Oh,
Queen. Are you an Aries? Are you an Aries? Queen.
Wait, are you an Aries? No, early February is
Aquarius queen.
Aquarius.
Which, you know what? That's the main thing about my sign. If we're going to pop into astrology a little bit, the main thing about my sign is that they are very, like, you know, they can be selfish. They can be very driven by self-interest. They're very inquisitive.
Okay.
Like some of like the more negative aspects, which like I think that can be true and probably is true. But, and I'm sure this is an Aquarius thing to say, I'm still going to do me though.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to learn and apologize and like do the best I can, but I just respect people so much more when they like can just be real. Like it doesn't have to be so much about what other people want or these
Yes.
expectations. And it was making me think a lot about, you know, you got your master's degree, and I remember, you know, talking to you before during this process, and you did not like it.
Yes.
And the reason why it made me think of that is because that had to be a time where you were feeling like, oh my gosh, I gotta keep doing this thing
Yeah.
that I don't want to do anymore,
Yes.
but I should do. And I'm like, I'm sure there was like a lot of outside voices as well. But do you feel like this is something like this was an experience where you're happy you completed it even if you didn't want to? Like it was like I did something that wasn't like, yay me.
Right.
Like working out or something. It's not always fun, but
Yeah.
you're glad you did it by the end of the run or something.
I okay. The master's program was interesting. I honestly, like, the entire time I was in it, I was just like, this isn't really what I want to do. Honestly, a lot of what I've gotten into in the past has, I truly think, been due to me being uninformed.
Right.
I kind of scroll down a few more scrolls on the website to know that this program is actually very different than what I just in my head thought it was going to be like. A very creative, a very fun, like, ooh, how can we make a new business and like let's just be fun with it and think about anything. It's very like analytical.
Yeah.
It was a lot of number. It was just not what I was
A master's of
expecting.
science?
Yes.
Damn, girl.
A master's of science in marketing.
And congrats to you, because even if you hated it, you still did it.
Thank you.
I think you like props for that, because it's hard to do something you don't like.
It was not the best, but it was also just like very much, I know that I can do this, so I'm gonna do it. And I think I'm a very everything happens for a reason kind of person. So when I didn't enjoy it, part of me was just like, I'm gonna feel, the reward of this later. I don't feel it right now, but everything happens for a reason. I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
I got accepted into it, and I'm very much of like, if you are given the opportunity, jump at that.
Yeah.
It may be naive. I like to say it's spontaneity. But I tend to jump into things. I tend to jump.
But you're like that's your intuition though, I would argue.
Yes.
Back to our point a couple of moons ago. Like, is it like spontaneity, all these different words, like you do what you feel is right.
Yes.
In that moment with what you've got, you don't need the full tool belt. You'll figure it out.
Yes, I know I'll figure it out. I like even wanting to go to like outside of Texas, because for my job I'm applying for jobs all over the place. I'm applying for jobs at this point, East Coast, West Coast, outside of the US a little bit. Like I almost followed a job to Hawaii a few months ago, which unfortunately didn't end up working out, but everything happens for a reason. Like when it didn't end up working out, I was like, okay, that wasn't meant to be. And a part of me kind of felt that, but I was just like, I will go anywhere. But I just going back to what we said earlier, like if you're good with yourself, it makes it a lot I want to find a better word than easier, but like I feel better about jumping into something when I know that I can fall back on myself.
Yeah.
But
like you built like an inner resilience, basically, where it's like, okay, I flopped a couple times and I've learned from that, I've grown from that. And I feel like all the intuition is like we all have that gut feeling, but I feel like intuition and fear like walk a fine line, or like intuition and anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like your gut is like, damn, what is this right
now? Yes.
But like I feel like it's like really not that my anxiety is always like a mindset thing, like you were saying, like, oh my god, I'm gonna feel better, and then you don't.
Yeah.
But like when you follow your intuition, I feel like it's like, okay, my gut's telling me that this is right for me right now. I'm just gonna trust. And then I feel like anxiety is like mistrust. Like what if I don't have what I need, or what if things go wrong? And sometimes we can control those thoughts and sometimes we can't.
Yeah.
But on the other end of it, I think that you can control those thoughts a lot more than we probably realize, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's not even like I need to control my thoughts. It's more so I know that even if it doesn't work out, I would say like this is kind of okay, anyway. I always say that a date is either a good time or a bad time and a good story. And I think I sometimes think about life that way, in the same way that people are like, it's either, what do they say? It's a something or a lesson. It's either, I don't know, it's probably on like a white woman's kitchen, but it's like it either works out or it doesn't, and then it was a lesson. And like, I think that's how I think of life. That's why I'm like so eager to jump into things, because it's just like if it doesn't work out, then I'll learn something from it. Like I don't think experience can be ooh, I was about to say something that's so not
not PG-13.
No, not that it wasn't PG-13. It just out of context would have sounded so privileged.
Girl, stand on it. Same way, even if you say it and you have a caveat. I have a lot of those.
Like, this sounds so fucking privileged. Or not privileged, but maybe just like naive. But I was gonna say that like no experience is like bad, but I know experiences can be awful. But like
so you're basically saying like, oh, like the option is to do the thing or not do the thing, and like just choosing not to do those things, like, or you're saying like any experience has some silver lining or like some good piece about it, basically.
It's yes, and it's not, I wouldn't say good, it's just it's all part of it's not
all
good
destined.
or bad. Yes.
It's all destined.
Yes.
That makes sense to me.
It just like is all part of the bigger picture.
The meaning of life, girl. You're getting philosophical and I'm loving it. Because I'm glad you brought this up. Actually, I'm glad, because what is it? I've just learned about hedonism. Do you know what that is? Don't even. Did you write a journal?
Girl.
He's a girl, hedonism. That's my jam. You're listing philosophers, like that's my man. Hedonism.
Whoa.
Girl, I just got my little download maybe like last year. Well, okay, I lied. I took a philosophy class in college, so I guess it was earlier than that.
Okay.
But I guess like going deeper down the hedonism train. But like hedonism is just like the fundamental belief that the only reason we're here is to enjoy ourselves. And I was like, all this other stuff, all these other theories, all these other dudes and Greece, like I don't align fully. There's some piece of it I don't align with, or I just don't like fully see it. But when I learned about hedonism, I was like, that sounds right.
Yeah.
It can kind of be dark and twisted though. So like I see hedonism, but then people are like, okay, well, if killing people makes you feel good, I'm like, well, girl, why'd you have to take it there? So for all you freaks that are thinking I mean it like that. I mean, be nice and like don't do crazy stuff.
Be nice.
But like some people are hardcore like that. But I just regular girlies, like I think we're in agreement there. Would you agree?
Like the visceral reaction I'm having to everything that you're saying, because it's so like I saw something one time that was like, if you found out that we were in a simulation, what would you look back on and think that was a sign? Like you were so in my brain. You are so in my brain right now. I'm like,
I'm so in your cerebellum, girl.
Did you read my diary? Like you are deep to the core in there. But that's so crazy because I don't remember where I had heard the term, where I saw it, whatever. I was having a conversation with a couple of friends about hedonism, and they were explaining to me what it was. I looked it up and I was like, yeah, this sounds like my shit. Yeah. Like this is me. And they were like, I was like, what else do people think about? And they were like, some people, instead of being driven by the good, are driven by pain or like bad experiences. And I was like, wow, that is like the fact that I didn't even think about that shows that I'm so locked into this shit.
Right.
But like,
I'm trying to be happy, bro. Yeah. Like, and it's crazy because I'm like 8 seasons into Dexter. So Dexter is like,
oh my God,
a little bit of a hedonism commentary. He has
really
a dark passenger that gives him the urge to kill. And so the whole show is basically like, he watches his mother die. That's like how he kind of gets into the vibe of being a killer. As a kid, he just like sees that it's very gruesome, and then from that moment on, he has like an uncontrollable desire to kill, and it makes him feel better, and it makes him feel but he kills people who have killed people. So it's like a Robin Hood kind of thing.
I see.
And it's obviously a very dark, twisted show, but like Homeboy is getting immense pleasure from dicing these people up, like, and dicing their bodies up. And I'm like, damn, that is not on my radar. I'm thinking the beach. I'm thinking a glass of wine after work. I'm thinking stamp on my passport. And some people are like, well, you know what would make me happy? Like death and destruction and chaos.
Oh my God.
So
yeah.
I'm not for you people out there. I am not recommending this lifestyle for you. We over here on this couch are locked into the regular stuff. I'm just like, why is everything stuff like this dark, twisted side? But I feel you, because I would never. The show is teaching me a lot about people who, there are people out here who are psychopaths. So
there are. I'm watching Criminal Minds right now, and that shit's crazy.
It's cuckoo that you're like enjoying a piece of this. But like I can't even. I used to watch so much true crime and like graphic stuff as a child. Now I'm a weenie, and I just like I can do increments.
Really? Okay.
But yeah. Anyways, back on hedonism from like murderers. Back on track. Yes, I agree with you. They ate with that one little thing. I wish I could remember one philosopher's name from my little course that I took, but I can't remember anything except dicing these people up in Socratic seminars. Like, there are people that want to debate with you in your philosophy class of like, okay, well, what if like murder makes them feel good? I'm like, okay, well, it's still wrong, Jimmy. Like, it's still bad.
Yes.
Like, you are so annoying. Like, we could be spending this time talking about how we could all collectively make our lives better, but they would argue that there's room for conversations like that too, girl.
Yes, but another thing that I have realized is like I feel at peace, and maybe more at peace with my philosophy, knowing that I don't have to put that on anybody else. Being okay with myself means being, maybe this is delusion, but being like just completely okay, and not completely, obviously I got to check myself every once in a while, but like in my way of thinking, I'm not trying to put my philosophy, religion, spirituality, whatever I follow onto anybody else. And that makes me feel better about following it, because like when I was like going through my oh my gosh, religion. When I was going through my real Jesus-y phase, and like I still believe in God. Like I'm still there. But like I remember a lot of the teaching is to teach other people or like kind of get people on the same page. Yeah. And it was really hard for me because I was like, I so strongly believe this, but when people are like so strongly believe in their way of thinking and they're a really good person, it makes me hard. Like it makes it really hard to tell somebody that they're gonna go to fucking hell if they don't.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
That's really tough. I completely agree. And I think that's what I'm saying. Like, you can find whatever you need from whatever you need.
Yes.
Like, I feel like people are, our generation especially, I think, we're really susceptible to like organization and the answers because things feel so chaotic.
Yeah.
That might not show up as like prevalently as religion did for our parents and our grandparents' generation, but I think it shows up in a lot of other ways. Things that like we're all so addicted to our phones, and I think it's because it's like I can just be so focused on someone else's life that I don't have to think about mine. I don't have to think about what I believe in. I don't have to form my own opinions. And some would say like bold parallel, but like that's sometimes what religion is.
Yeah.
Like I believe what the pastor is saying, and I believe what these sermons are saying, and I believe what this book is saying. And it's peaceful because I don't need to spend the time with the uncomfortable feelings of deciphering what I believe for myself. So it's really the same thing we've been talking about the whole episode is, girl, if you just got a journal and it's fine if it's God and you love him and you love that, it's fine. If it's not God, it's fine if it's spirituality, but it has to be like you, like it has to be like yours, and you feel peace with what you figured out because like I feel like something's yours when you don't need to like share it or like push people to do it. Like I don't write thinking, oh my God, my girlfriend's gonna love this journal entry. Like that's just like that's what like spending time by yourself is doing, is it's like grooming you to like respect your own opinions and like figure out what you like and like listen more to your internal voice than like your pastor or your teacher or your mom or your siblings. Like maybe you should learn how to healthily listen to you and ask feedback, ask questions.
Oh my God, yes.
Because what they don't like in the church is questions. So that's sometimes what's hard is like, I want to know.
Yeah.
That's why I like my philosophy class because like, yeah, I might hate Jimmy because he's trying to say we should dice people up. But I'm also like very intrigued by Jimmy. Like, why do you want to dice people? Like, what's going on there? And I've got questions, but I felt like when I was really in my era of going to church by myself very frequently, I found the same thing where I was like, oh, well, why is pornography bad?
Yeah.
Like, why am I going straight downstairs? Like, with one click? Like, self-pleasure and things like that. Why am I going straight downstairs for hanging with me?
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense. And then if you ask certain questions, like, I feel like it's not the most inclusive environment all the time.
Right.
To get those answers. So people go and look for them elsewhere, which is good and healthy and normal.
Yes.
And when you like try to encourage people to do it, like push them into certain things, like I just don't think it works out.
It doesn't. And that's why I was raised Catholic, and then
which Catholicism's crazy, bro.
Were you raised Catholic?
I was Baptist.
Oh, okay.
But I heard about y'all over there. I didn't really know about Catholicism until like late, like high school.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like the nitty gritty. Like I thought, oh, the confession booth, that's just tea for like these movies. No, y'all are getting in the booth.
You're getting in the booth. You have to get in the booth, actually.
And he's handing you 8 Hail Marys and 2 hours of community service.
Yes.
Like actually giving you stuff.
Yes.
That's crazy. I always thought that was myth. I mean, you just see it in movies. Like, I just had no idea y'all were actually getting in the booth.
Well, yeah, like you go. Well, I had to do it for like confirmation. You have to there's first communion and then confirmation. Which, did you know Mallory's mom was my teacher?
Oh, you know what? That's cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
Was she a nice lady?
She was so nice. She was
love
a sweet
that.
lady. But
see, I couldn't even imagine her in that setting. I just know Mallory the mom, but Mallory, like my church leader.
She was my Sunday school. Well, it was Wednesdays for us, but Wednesday. Yep, she was teaching it.
She got
there.
you confirmed,
and she got me confirmed. Yeah,
it sounds so official too. Like these terms that you use.
I know. It's like I got a badge. Like they show up. You have to get. You fill out a little form. This is my sponsor. This is my saint.
That was crazy when that lore dropped.
I said
that y'all are picking saints and diving in.
Me on Wikipedia though at 12 years old being like, which one of these likes crafts? Like I ended up choosing like the saint of athletes because I was like, what the fuck do I like?
No, literally.
I didn't.
I thought that they gave y'all some sort of like Myers-Briggs test. Like they don't give you no guidance. Like,
who's your saint?
Yeah.
Who's your confirmation saint?
I'm sure there's a quiz out there.
No, probably, but we just like sat in class one day and like chose our saints. That's cute. Yeah, like okay, so I was raised Catholic. And then I got to high school, and all my friends were Christian. And I was like, yeah, let me try out a Young Life meeting. I go in, and we're playing musical chairs on boys' laps. And it was like, this is religion? Like, what? This is church? I've never been to church like this. I go to Catholic church.
Catholic church is like very like regimented and routine.
Yes, and Young Life is like. Did you ever go to Young Life?
No, babe.
Congratulations. It was a trip, bitch. But I was like, this is not for me. Took another little break. And I was like, I'm gonna try this out myself. Started just reading the Bible. And then I was like, okay, I can get into this. College comes around, tried a Korean church, liked that for a little bit, but then everybody was really like cliquey, really mean.
That's so weird.
And so I was like, okay, no more Christianity. Let's just try the overall like religious realm. But then saying to people that I was religious also just added like a little
mystery.
Yeah, it was just like
everybody in Texas is like, ooh, what kind?
Yeah.
Are you Presbyterian?
Yes.
And I'm like, dang, there's so many branches, dude. Like I couldn't even really tell you what business Baptists are standing on. Like I know we literally get baptized, but you guys get baptized at birth. Which that rocked me too, because again, I'm not knowing real from fake. I'm thinking the scene in Mamma Mia, like, well, how beautiful this beautiful bath for this beautiful baby, and the priest letting this baby over his bath. Like, this is so beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You guys are born with sin. Like, that lore is crazy.
Yeah, all of it. It's like, how do I know to follow all of this? And now I am comfortably settled at spiritual because I don't know. Like, I still pray. Do I know what or who I am praying to? I'm not entirely sure. That's why I'm like, I can't say. But I believe in God. Like, I believe in a higher power. Maybe it's agnostic. I don't know.
That's so Gen Z though of you, because I think we're so much more comfortable with not as many rules.
Yes.
Like if I told my mom I was praying to something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
She'd be like, that's the devil. Like, I wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween growing up because it was the devil's holiday. Yeah, girl. That's why I had to capitalize in college. And I still never went trick-or-treating.
You did? What?
I know, girl.
Does Hannah know that she'll take you?
She would take me. It's just like, kids don't be going as much, which makes me sad. I feel like I missed the window where it was like peak, like kids out there. And someone says that they won't give candy to adults if I come to the door. And I'm like,
if you're dressed to the nine, you'll...
That's what I'm saying. Will they deny me?
No.
Like, stop.
I know you would show up too. Just, do you have a kid?
See, that's what I'm saying. I've only done Hoochie Mama. You know, if you can only celebrate Halloween, you're gonna go crazy first, and then you're gonna be like, I have always wanted to go like like trick-or-treating, but I went bonkers.
Okay.
It was like hot cheerleader.
Yep.
Things like that.
And I love that.
I'm not gonna show up to those people's door like, so
I'm gonna make something happen.
This is the year 26. I need to like officially sit down, trick or treat, feel that joy.
I love trick or treating.
It seems so fun. Like that's what I'm saying. Like because
you need that experience, yeah.
Yes, like because no shade, no tea to mom, out there, but girl, she celebrates Halloween now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's so crazy that like I missed out on things because of her like worldview, but it's like this is such like a pure like normal thing for a child.
Right.
And so I just feel like Gen Z are more down to like you said, don't know what I'm praying to, who I'm praying to, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Like my mom would not be into that, but like you also probably as a parent are going to be like your parents, even though they raised you Catholic, when you went to the Christian church, I'm sure they weren't like, no,
Yeah.
Or maybe they had some reservations, but I mean, you went, so.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, honestly, like, I love my parents. I'm very grateful for the way that they raised me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they also just, like, didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were a lot of things that I wanted to explore that they were like, yeah, go figure it out. Like, I remember, this is so random, but there was one time where I got dinner with my dad. My dad was in town for a work thing, and it was just me, my dad, Jimena, and Garrett.
What a click.
What a click. And he asked my dad, like, one of the first questions he asked my dad when we sat down for dinner was, so how did you, like, what was your philosophy for raising Morgan? Because, like, she is,
she's that girl.
Morgan.
I know that's right, girl.
And I loved that. But he was like, honestly, it's not about how I raised them, like me and my brother. It was more just like, or my idea wasn't I need to teach them a certain way or a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was always just gentle nudges.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to guide them. I'm just going to help nudge them when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I decided to explore religion or even like my sexuality, like my parents, they just were like, just go figure it out, because I know that if you don't like it, you're going to come back and you're going to tell us that you don't like it. Like, so they're just like, just go figure it out. And then I tried different, versions of religion. I think it also helps because they didn't, like, they raised me Catholic, but they didn't care that much. Like, they don't talk to God every day. They don't go to church every weekend. So I don't think they care that much. I think that's probably why anyway, but
I think that's nice though, because it's like it's the same thing. It's like
oh yeah,
they were focused on raising you to be a good human and to like like I love, like when I was talking to Hunter, I was saying like, why do you think that you have like this inner confidence to like do things against the grain, like get the house with your friend, like become a realtor, like do all these things, quit your job, like don't use your degree, like why do you feel like you can do all this stuff?
Yeah.
And he was like, I really feel like it was my parents. And I was like, that is such a sweet and wholesome answer. But they like raised him to believe he could do anything he wanted, which is so like so powerful, so slay. I feel like for your parents, they really were like, you can be and do whatever you want. They were more concerned on like raising you to be a good person than like to be a good doctor, or like to be a good like wife, or like to be a good mother. Like it goes back to what we were talking about before. Like people have kids and they plan them, they put so much pressure and expectation on who they should be. And I firmly believe you should not have kids if you want them to be anything.
Yes.
And that's when where I'll be like boxing with Jimmy. He's like, okay, so what if your kid wants to do drugs? I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna love it. Like, I'm not gonna love everything you do, queen. Like, I'm not. But they're always like, oh, hey, will you be fine with your kid being a stripper? I mean, girl, pop off. Like, I'm not gonna love everything.
Yeah.
But I want you to do what you want to do.
Yes. And there's also just like wanting to be a mother is not because I want to raise a certain person or like somebody a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I know my limitations. There are certain things that I can like I will never get them to understand. So it's just the nudges. Like yeah, I will help you when you need help, but you are going to figure out. Like I just want to share the beauty of life. I truly think that like being a mother for me is about like I have so grateful, truly so blessed. I have had a beautiful life, I think, in a lot of different ways. And I want to share that. I can't have this beautiful thing and not give this or like I don't know,
not
to
just
somebody
like
else.
try to give someone a little taste of just even a crumb. Like that is really sweet. I love that you said that. I specifically love, which I feel like you may know, you may not know, like you ooze gratitude. Like you are grateful for everything that you have. You're grateful for your relationships. You're grateful for your family. I don't like, and like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like some people I feel like don't take true gratitude in, like before you were like, this might sound naive or this might sound like this. Like I feel like that's the perception when people are really confronted with gratitude. They're like, fake. She's miserable.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah,
fake.
Yeah.
Like that's not real. Like there's hardship in the world. And you're like, damn, I actually didn't say anything about that. And so it's just like you're someone who naturally oozes gratitude, and I think that that's like just such a loving, like great quality that might be the only quality that you need to have as a parent. That like number one. That's probably why you feel called to be a mom, because you're like, damn, I feel grateful for this life out here, even though it might be shitty a little.
Yeah.
And I just want my child like to experience like all these great things.
I love that you said that. And thank you for saying that. I am grateful that you said that.
I'm feeling grateful for you.
That's so sweet. I truly do feel so grateful, and I think for a while I was like, you've had it too good, girl. Not too good, but like you just need to recognize. I think I'm more grateful now that I recognize that there are a lot of people who have not had that.
Yeah.
Whether, it's like, I don't know. So many people live so many different lives, and like learning more about those people and their experiences, I feel grateful, one, to have that knowledge, like to learn more about other people.
Yeah.
But also it makes me appreciate my life more. Just because, not because I'm comparing my life to this person, but it's just like, it's like a good reminder that there are just like a lot of things that like I maybe take for granted on a day to day, and I like want to actively put it out there that I'm very grateful for these things and these experiences. But yeah, I don't know.
I love that though. Where do you feel like you got that from? Like, if you had to pinpoint one place where you were like, yes, this helped teach me, or this helped like affirm for me that like I just need to look at life through a lens of like this shit's great for the most part. I think I'm good with this. I feel good with this.
That's good question. I feel like I started trying to train myself to think about those things actually from religion, which I think at that time that's why I'm very grateful that I kind of went through that period of religion, because I was praying a lot and I didn't know what to pray about. So I would basically run through my whole day. And that's like a lot of what I do these days. When I pray, I just think about what happened that day and how like I'm grateful for, like I would pray about, I'm grateful for my friendship with Millenia and like being able to have a good conversation with her. Thank you for the body you give me to get through my workout this morning. Like all these kinds of things. I feel like that kind of like helped train me to like actively think about those things. But I think it really, something clicked, I think, in high school where I was just like, I am very grateful for these things, and I actually like myself. I like a lot of things. I don't know what the trigger was, but it was around junior year of high school where I was like, okay, this is good.
I'm good with this.
Yeah, I like this. I like this. It definitely helped. I got a little boost when I did some hallucinogenic drugs, I would say. But
and it started your trajectory, Queen.
It did.
You were like, you know what? This actually reshaped my worldview. I'm glad that I did it. And now I can just be like really content and happy with the way that things are.
Yeah.
Which so much of people's suffering comes from discontent and regret and ruminating and shame. And so I think it's such a gift that you learned that lesson so young, because it's not like you learned the key to life so young, but you learned like the tools to help you have a better life. Like, I feel like obviously there's going to be plenty of lessons that you have in the future that are going to like rock you and be like, oh my God, no, it's actually this.
Yes.
But like this, like, I feel like gratitude will carry you forever, but it probably really fucking eats like when you need it most. Because shit is rough out here. Like, it's a lot of people, maybe why it feels so fraudulent sometimes to some people, most people maybe, is because things are so turbulent in the world and the climate is cray and they might not have the best home life, or their ex broke up with them, or whatever. So it's just like most people are going through some shit, and it's like super, super, super hard to like train your mind. I love that you specifically said train your mind, because it's like it is a muscle that you have to flex. Like, I don't think naturally humans are, and maybe they are, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like most humans are naturally hardwired to be like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, I love this.
And like, I wouldn't say that I like take credit. I can't take complete credit for the way that I think. Like, it's very much like being surrounded by people who I can have good conversation with, who will, I always say, like, the best relationships are people who can challenge me as much as like, I don't need
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
So good.
I don't need somebody who's going to agree with me all the time. In fact, I don't want it.
Right.
I don't.
And if you want it, why do you want that? Because you probably just don't want friction in your life. But friction's inevitable, babe. Like, you need to buckle up. Like, I think we need, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the status quo, whatever that looks like, the marriage, the kids, the babies, the church, the whatever your status quo looks like challenging it yourself is scary. And I feel like you're less likely to do it if you don't have anyone else in your life that also challenges you.
Absolutely.
Like, no one's forcing you to stand 10 toes down. Okay, you just won't. Like, I do think it's something innately that humans are like, let me like eat this up and like be my own person right now. I do not think that comes. I think we have to be taught that. I really do. I don't meet anybody that just naturally has that. Have you ever met anybody that's just like, I've got this and I'm eating?
And no, and I wouldn't trust them because do you really believe it? I know you say it, but I don't know.
You know what? You're so right. I don't trust a bitch with no backstory. Like, don't come to me telling me you got everything figured out. Don't tell me that.
Yeah.
I want to see when you spiral. I want to know the lowest lows. It really does. It does create like depth in people.
Yes. I need to know, I feel like, that lore to be able to trust your story, maybe. But, you just asked an incredible question and now I'm blanking. We were talking about how...
Who gave you that gratitude? You can't take credit on your own.
Yes, I can take credit.
Somebody
I have no idea, but I don't know. I feel like just having good conversation with people, I think.
Was it about challenging? You
Huh?
being challenged by someone? Was that what you were going to say?
Oh, we were talking about people who need to be with people who always agree with them.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to say something about how, like, they need the satisfaction because they... No, I'm not even going to go there. You can just cut this bit.
She said, we'll edit it in post. You'll edit it in post. Actually.
You will edit it. Thank you. Thank you. I was going to start, but then I was like, you know what? It's been said. I don't need to repeat it.
It's okay,
but
Pookie.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like very proud of how far I've gotten in like the way that I think about things. But yeah, it took a lot of work and a lot of conversations with people, and I need somebody to like disagree with me every once in a while. And I feel like I have a good amount of friends. Honestly, my brother,
he be sitting on business.
Yes, like I love somebody who's not going to always tell me what I want to hear, but tells me what I need to hear. And every time we have a conversation, sometimes almost to a fault, because that bitch loves to play devil's advocate. I love him for that. But sometimes I'm like,
he's Jimmy in my philosophy class.
Shut the fuck up. Literally just like let me be mad right now. But he will always call me out for something. Like he'll take the side of somebody that I'm like hardcore beefing with, and it pisses me the fuck off. But then I'm like, you know what? Right. I get it.
I needed that POV.
I get it. But yeah, you were saying that Jimena is like that?
Jimena is how to describe.
I agree, but
how to describe. Okay, that's a piece that I really wanted to touch on while we were chatting. Is we share a love. We share a great love of our life. Jimena, if you're out there listening, I love you, baddie. You're a baddie, and we love you. We miss you. I hope you're having fun in Nueva York.
We should take a trip together, by the way.
That would be so fun. The crazy thing is, first time that I even went to New York was with you, so you saw me see the city for the first time, which was really sweet, and we had a delightful time.
I watched the video the other day.
Yeah, what a delightful time.
Such a good time.
But our bestie lives out there. She's doing law school. I met Jimena in, I believe, the 5th grade, which is crazy. Yeah. And then we all went to the same high school together, but you and Jimena lived together in college. So I feel like she's very much the bridge that, joined two baddies together.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for her because she is someone who she'll go deep with you like that. She will express gratitude for you. She's really good about expressing gratitude for others. I need her to speak gratitude for herself though. Like she needs to be like, I'm the best, but I digress. She's the best. But like she's just really good about speaking that love onto people. And I feel like she, like, if I had to think about like the times where I like have learned a lot of gratitude, I would say Jimena. She's just someone who I've seen go through a lot of life, and she's very grateful and appreciative to be, in law school, first gen Latina baddie, like in New York, even though it's hard, even though she's doing these things, it's difficult. And she feels, I'm sure she would say if she was here, she feels lost. And I know you're feeling like currently, like before we even hopped on the pod, you were like, girl, like career stuff, life stuff. So I'd love to talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah,
because I know we can get into a Jimena tangent. So I'm putting a pin in that one right now for the special 3-way episode later. But I would love to hear about like your career journey, like because you did the master's, you didn't like it, you graduated, you did the damn thing.
Yes.
And then after you finished, you were like, I can't find a job.
Yes.
That's what it is in a nutshell.
Oh, yes. Okay. Everything. First of all, let me just say, so it's on record, that I am so incredibly grateful that Jimena brought us together because she knew. She really did. And it works. Like, immediately, it was like that click that we were talking about earlier. Like, Jimena she knows it, and she is so good about that. She's so good with expressing her emotions, and I feel like I got a lot of that from her, but love that girl.
Love that girl. I love that you said your little piece. She said, the pen I'm taking back out. Yeah. Jimena, I love you. Like, she's not going to silence me on her podcast. Like, I love you down. I'm grateful for her, too.
And I'm sorry, I just had to take that. I just had to take that
it's
out.
Like, your podcast? I'm the host. No. Like, no, I love you.
I just had to put that in there really quick.
I love that.
But yes, we were talking about the Masters, and I don't even think I finished that earlier, but that did not go how I planned it to go. I very much went into it thinking I'm going to get the knowledge I need. I'm going to meet some great people. I am going to get a 6-figure job literally right out the gate. And I am now, let's see, I graduated in May 23-ish with my Masters, and it's like February
2025.
Oh my god, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The math is crazy. Does it feel like it's been almost 2 years since you graduated?
Well, absolutely not. Like, time flies. I was just talking to Jimena today about how it's been 6 months since my breakup, and it feels like a month ago. Like,
damn, girl.
But time flies, and that did not go exactly how I planned. But I, again, am a big believer in everything happens for a reason, so I keep telling myself, like, it's going to work out. But it's been hard, bitch. Like,
yeah.
I just had I was just being so dramatic this morning.
I don't even know the lore. So if you need to drop the lore right now.
This morning, I was like having a whole thing because I feel like I do a lot for my job search. I put in a lot of effort. I'm talking to so many people. I've applied since I've graduated to hundreds of jobs.
That's brutal.
And every time, even when I talk to people about like what more I could be doing, where I should be going, or who I should be talking to, like, I'm getting either advice I've already heard or, you know, being told to do something that I'm already doing. And I feel like I'm doing the most I can do just as a girl in my 20s with limited time and limited, like, I still have a job. Like, I work like 3 part-time jobs right now. So like I've got don't tell that to TurboTax, but I am working
the IRS. I don't know where.
I'm working like a few jobs. Like, I've got, you know, like a source of income, which I feel very grateful to have while I'm job searching. But it's also just so disheartening sometimes to look back on how much work I put in to get my degree, my master's then, and to still be not where, one, I want to be, but 2, where I know I could be. Like, for a long time, I think it was putting me down because I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what skills do I not have? What skills do I need to work on to like get to that point? But to be completely honest, and I hate to give credit to a man.
To a man.
But when I broke up with my ex, he was very much like, something I have to tell you before we break up. I mean, we already broke up, but like something I have to tell you before I go.
I need to make sure you know.
But you need to know this. Write it down if you need to. It's like,
I would die.
Do not settle for anything less than you are worth. And he was like, you are so good, I think, at what you do, but you don't give yourself credit for it sometimes. And like, like, in terms of work, he was like, I know you think that it's so silly that you just like draw pictures and you do graphic design and it's like whatever, but he was like, but you're good at it and you're good at talking to people. And I feel like that really was really good for me. It was a good reminder. But when I like really like believe that, it makes it hurt, I think, a little bit more, having got this long without getting like the position that I wanted.
Yeah. And that's so relatable, girl. Like, I feel like something like very like signature on our generation is just the job search has been so rough and devastating. Like this is something I was talking about with Hunter, where it's like he never, like it took him so long to find a job in his field, and then when he started, he hated it, and he quit. And he just chose a different path, and he doesn't use his degree anymore. And the conversation was so crazy because it's like, this is what they tell you when you grow up. Oh my God, get your degree. And then if you really want a high paying job or you really want prospects, get your master's. Then network alone is worth whatever 6-figure price. Like they really like drum up that like education is such a clear and direct pathway. Yes. And then like we have just a destabilizing pandemic that shakes up the job market forever, and it never is going to look like our parents' job market. It for damn sure isn't going to look like our grandparents' job market. What the fuck? Like just generationally, even our siblings, like I have an older brother who's 34. It for damn sure doesn't look like his job market. Like he graduated high school in 04. So, you know, getting out there, going to school, I mean, there was a 2008 recession, but still, like, it was so different graduating post-pandemic. And I know that is something that's really, like, hard to swallow, is like, okay, I'm, like, doing something that objectively everybody agrees is, like, better for me and better for my career and what I'm supposed to be doing, and I wanted to do it. And now I'm on the other side of it, and I'm not seeing the fruit of my labor, and I only did it because I felt like I had to. Yeah, it was destabilizing, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. Another thing that I journaled about recently was just how unfortunate it is, I think, to feel like so much of our personality, status, whatever revolves around what you do for work.
Right.
Like when you're meeting somebody new, hey, what's your name? How old are you? Where are you from? What do you do for work? Why? Like, I think it puts me down more. Honestly, like, I would not be pressed about the jobs that as much or as pressed about the jobs that I think I was doing if it wasn't just so
like society looked down upon.
Yes.
And there's like an undertone.
Yes.
I totally understand. I was just talking to Hannah about this the other day, and we were talking about like just places we'd love to live in the future. And I was like, culturally, I need to live somewhere where the most interesting thing that people want to talk about or like know about you is what you do for work. I do not care about that unless your work is like your passion, which like hopefully it is and it should be. But like, I don't know, like I really don't wear like what you do.
Oh my gosh. Then you bringing that word into it, why does our passion have to be synonymous with what we do for work?
Right.
My passion is creating art, but I actually don't want to do that for work. I actually don't want, like, that's why I decided to get my master's in marketing, because I was like, I'm going to do something for business, honestly, like business related, genuinely for money, so that I can support my personal passion. But why nowadays do you have to follow your work based on like...
I completely agree. I completely agree that all your passions do not need to be something that's monetized. I believe that like sometimes the thing that you love the most might not be what you would be best at in a career.
Yes.
And I am directly contradicting myself because I literally just said out of my own mouth, oh my God, it should be your passion. But caveat, if you want it to be,
exactly.
Some people like they find that it's called ikigai. Have you ever heard of that?
It's can like, you spell it?
AGI.
Okay.
I think it's Japanese.
Okay.
But it's like the word for like, and I'm probably butchering this, but like complete harmony. Like what you're good at, what you love to do, and what makes you money, that's your ikigai.
Okay.
And so some people find their ikigai. They know what it is, they go after it, it confirms it, they're good, they're done.
Yeah.
And some people just find what they like to do that makes them money, but it might not be their passion. Or they might find their passion that they like to do, but it might not make them money. So some people are really getting like 2 out of the 3 or whatever most of the time. But then there's some people who, I don't know, have all 3 and they leveled up, quote unquote. I don't necessarily think everyone needs to level up though. I don't think it's necessary. It probably feels great to find your ikigai.
Oh yeah.
Maybe but I mean, how would you go? How the fuck would you go about that?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like an ebook I could download for $5.
Ikigai for Dummies.
Ikigai. I'm actually sure I could actually read up and learn from this beautiful culture. So let me not talk that trash. But sometimes your passions don't need to be work.
Yes. They don't.
Sometimes you want work to be work and you make money and you enjoy the people you work with and you're okay about it. Content. Chill. Baseline. And I think that that's what's hard about like going on a job search is like, for me, every role I've had, because I'm a job hopper, so I've hopped around the first couple of years of my career, which comes with its own societal stuff. It's like, damn girl, another job. I'm like, yeah, I didn't like the last one. So yeah, 3 and 3, and I do it again. So I feel you a little bit on that one, but I feel like for me, like I'm not always thinking about, you know, my ultimate dream passion in life and then how I can make money from it.
Yes.
Like sometimes I just want the lifestyle that a job brings, and I didn't like the lifestyle that I had. Or I wasn't a fan of the community that I worked with, or I didn't like the trajectory that I was going down. I didn't look forward to the roles in front of me. There are so many reasons.
Yes.
Which makes job hunting like so stressful, because it's like I would have 100, 150, 200 applications per job. You know, so it's rounds and rounds, and I felt like it was millions of little first dates.
Yes.
Like I'm only applying for stuff I want, you know?
Yeah.
So then it's like I'm thinking of this life where I'm like working downtown, and like you go through the interview and you do stuff and then you don't get it, and it's like that rejection over and over is, I mean, it's not ikigai. It's wearing you down.
It gets you, and like I am good with myself. But
that would get any bad bitch,
dude. Like just every day, because I applied to so many jobs. Every day, I'm waking up to a job I applied to 2, 3, 4 months ago. It's like, we decided to go in a different direction, and it's like, I forgot about you. I don't even want you anymore. But ow, like at this point, just don't respond to me, because now I have to update my job search Google spreadsheet.
Yeah, girl.
That says
the Notion template with 150 cells, and it hurts every time you click over it. Rejected. Exactly. It's humbling.
It is.
And like Noah gave me really great advice. Another one of our mutual friends. He was like, job hunt, like you have to be okay with 100 no's. And I remember him telling me that when I graduated, because the economy, so many things were so uncertain, you know, after COVID 2022, even you think, okay, it's calming down a little bit. No, babe, the job market was still so in shambles, even in 2023, even in 2024. So he was like, you have to be okay with 100 no's. Like you have to be fine with, you might not graduate with the job you want, you know? And I just was so distressed about that, because I was like, this is not an option. Like I have to figure out a way to support myself, and I want to use my major. Like I loved what I studied. Like this, I'm choking this dream out. Like this has to happen. But him telling me that really gave me peace.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, like I can't really throw a fit until I hit 100 no's. But my question is for you, it might have been past 100 no's at this point.
No, it hasn't been.
Okay, good.
No, it hasn't.
Good girl, because I wouldn't know how to talk to you. I wouldn't have no advice for you. I would be like, yeah, I get you, girl. I would not have nothing philosophical to say.
So funny. No, damn. And you know what? He is right. Another side note. We love
Noah. A practical king who sets it straight.
And he knows what the fuck he wants. Like, I love a work hard, play hard, but he, to his core, is a work hard, play hard kind of guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's totally true. You definitely have to, it's the same way, like my dad would always say, your first boyfriend isn't going to be your last. And then when I started the job search around finishing college, he was like, I've always said the same thing, and it applies to jobs too. Your first job is not going to be your last. In fact, your first 1, 2, 3, 10 jobs are not going to be what you want to do, and that's totally fine. But you need those experiences to maybe like find the other one, which brings me peace, just knowing that like if this isn't where I'm meant to be, if I don't like it, it's just the stepping stone for whatever's next. So like I do have, like I said, a couple jobs right now, and I think that has brought me a lot of peace, even though it's not what I want to do. But it has, like, if I've gotten this far, I think like that's what I need to remind myself pretty often, is like, if I've gotten this far, like I can figure it out. Like but I'm still working. Like,
you're still doing the damn thing.
I am.
You're still getting out there. You're still sending applications. The good thing too is like that's like great. Like the good thing too is you're not quitting.
Yeah.
Like that is the hardest thing that I find. Like just seeing my friends go through, because I just felt like such an anomaly. I was like, I'm the only person I know that has a job after graduation, and this is what we all came here for.
Yeah.
I'm spiraling. Like you're brilliant and you're brilliant and you're brilliant, and why is no one finding a job? Yeah. And it was increased anxiety every time I would leave a job and switch to another job that I felt like was a better fit. I was like, oh my gosh, like what if I'm leaving a good thing? You know, what if you know, the last job would have give me skills that this job is different skills. Like, how am I going to leverage all these skills to get where I actually want to go? So many like career trajectory questions, and like trying to make this map and this plan.
Yes.
And I just can't even imagine, like, on top of those feelings of trying to make a plan, you're still hearing no's and you're not actively doing what you want to do.
Yes.
Because it's like, you know, we've been talking this whole episode about intuition, like gratitude, like these things, but I feel like, you know, do you feel like especially during these times it's been a little bit harder to lean into some of those things like gratitude, or do you feel like it's just like, you know what, I'm a bad bitch, I'm going to come back around eventually?
It has been a little bit harder, and it's funny that you asked that, because when you sent me the, like, when we talked about ideas for what we would talk about in this episode, one of them was like trusting the process. And I was like, I think it would be really interesting to talk about it, because I am actually at a place where I really have to trust the process right now.
Not because I'm choice.
Not because I'm exactly. I'm not choosing to trust the process right now. I have no other option than to trust the process. And that's really hard. But I also think a part of a puzzle piece to trusting the process is control what you can control. That is another one of my big philosophies. I can only do so much. But if I do everything that I can to put myself in the best position and let fate, God, whatever, the universe,
right, like you filled your
cup,
over the rest, so it's like
exactly like that's so important. But oh my gosh, you were just talking control what you can control, job wise. Oh, what I was going to say about like the job search is, when I was like pretty early on, and honestly still, like when I have conversations in informational interviews, whatever, like talking to people about their career and like how they got to the place that they are at, a lot of people will say stuff like, I met this person on the plane. I like, they were in front of me at the gas station or whatever. And like, I like, they're just like so many like random kismet stories that I'm like, at first frustrated me, because I was like, shoot, like they just, it worked out for them. Like they got lucky. And it was frustrating, because then I was like, well, what can I do? But then I realized, be okay with that. Like actually lean into that. Know that like it's going to work out for you when it's meant to work out for you, and it may feel like a coincidence, but like that's how it happened for so many people. So I just know that I have to do everything in my power.
Yeah.
And then something crazy is going to happen and it's going to work out.
You're so right. You're so right. That is such a good point. And I honestly like feel like that is the perfect place to conclude, like the perfect like summary of like everything that we talked about today, where it's like I always think about that quote from that actress I saw. I don't know her name and don't know what she's in. But she was saying how like if you run to catch the bus, have you heard that?
No,
she's like, oh, if you're late for the bus and you run to catch this bus and you get on it, it's your bus. Like,
yeah.
You're meant to be on that bus. But if you're like running late for the bus, you run to catch the bus and you don't catch that bus, it was not your bus.
Yes.
Like you're not the bus. Your bus is the next bus that's coming.
Yes.
And I feel like that is so what you're saying is like sometimes you are forced to trust the process because you have no fucking idea when your bus is coming.
Yes.
You're sitting at the bus stop like, holy shit. I can't wait for my bus to get here. I don't know what it looks like. Is it a bus? Like, maybe I'm going to get on someone's back and walk to the next stop. Like, that is what it's giving.
Yes.
And I think about that quote all the time because it's like, it's what you're saying. Like, you're doing everything you can. You're fucking running to the bus. Just not your bus.
Yeah.
Like, your bus is around the corner or down the street or you don't know where the fuck where.
Yes.
And I think that it's so hard for people to sit in that feeling of like, oh my God, I have to keep running I have to keep running after this bus. I have to keep up with it. Like that, like diligence and like resilience, like I feel like is like just the through line of our conversation today. It's like you take care of yourself enough so that you can fucking sit at the bus stoppage.
Exactly.
And wait for your fucking bus like everybody else. Some people got a Lambo pulling up and it's like, damn, I'm still waiting for my bus. Yay. Like,
oh God.
But I totally think like the type of person you are and just like, I mean, gratitude is like, magnetic. So it's like these people are probably just walking in their truth, walking in their power, linking up with somebody else doing the same thing, and then something happens.
Yes.
And our brains can't wrap our mind around it. It's like, oh my God, that's so crazy. What a coincidence. But it's like they were just like fucking chasing their little bus every day.
Exactly.
I really think.
And then it happened.
And I know it's going to happen for you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see like what your future is cooking up because you're one of the ones that excites me because I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, when you told me about Hawaii and then when you shared it didn't work out, I was like, damn, that seems like a great next step. But then when you told me about possible things in New York, I'm like, damn, I could totally see that too.
Yeah.
So it's just like that must be really exciting to like live on the edge a little bit where it's like, okay, I'm waiting for my bus, but bitch, it could be a bus in London.
Yes.
Like out of the country, it could be out of the state, it could be like completely just remix your life. So, I mean, I guess that seems pretty exciting.
Yes. I always say that I have no idea what my next step is, but I'm so excited to figure it out. And you'll be the first to know, bitch. We'll be right back here talking about, hey, so how's it been?
You know what? That would be so sweet too, because every single one of these I've filmed so far, ones that will be released and ones that will not be released, has been so fun because I just think about like, I don't know, whenever we circle back and film another one, it's like you might be on your bus, ho.
Yes.
Like that's gonna be so exciting to see. And we have no idea what that looks like. Like this is our little like journal entry in time.
This is our journal entry.
And that's really special.
It is so special, and I will just say this last thing that because I know we could go on for literally ever, but like thank you, back to the gratitude for facilitating this, because as much as you wanted to do it for whatever your personal reasons were, I actually needed to talk about a lot of this stuff because I haven't wanted to for a while. And
I've been avoiding it.
And sometimes like, as much as I love and appreciate a journal, I love these conversations,
your mic out.
especially with somebody who gets me as well as you do, girl. Like, oh my God, you're in there. You're so in there. You pull out, you get like every little nook and cranny that I want to touch on. And it's just, it's so good.
Queen. I adore you,
I'm
Queen.
obsessed with you, dude. I was so excited and it was everything I wanted and more. This conversation was so perfect.
You kill me, dude. I'm literally tickled. I love you so very much. And I just appreciate you so much. You're on the OG season of the pod, bitch. Okay?
What an honor. Literally, what an honor.
I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful we got brought together. And so grateful to look back on this one day. Like, oh, it's gonna be a movie. Like, I don't know when we finna sync back up. You could literally be in Australia like next year, next month, and we could film the pod down under. Like, I really have no idea what's coming, but I'm buckling up, and I love you so much.
Oh my god, I fucking love you. I
love you. I think that's a wrap, Queen.